Welcome to another adventure on this planet Earth. This week, we'll meet a man who is making my adventures look like a walk in the park in 3 big ways. Yeah, sure, I'm riding a motorcycle around Asia. Big deal. Tom is riding around the world. Tom is riding a bicycle around the world. And Tom is doing all this while dealing with the effects of type 1 diabetes. Tom, what did you say your last name? Let's go.
Oh, it's an unfortunate one. Blower.
This is Tom Blower. He's heard all the jokes, folks.
Yeah, I've been in a number of customs officials that have asked me my name or looked at my passport and then just outright giggled in my face.
Well, I met Tom yesterday. We were both checking in. He didn't look too good. He was just trying to figure out what the heck he was going to do next. Everything's good, but he's in the middle of quite a journey. You discovered you had diabetes when you were 14.
Yep. So over the course of 3 weeks, I just started getting really tired and always thirsty, and I lost 8 kilos. Eventually, my mum noticed, took me to the doctor, and the doctor said I had diabetes. So
quite often on these trips, you meet other adventurers, you can call them, and many of them are pretty self-absorbed and kind of darn proud of themselves, and you just don't get real conversation out of them. But Tom pretty quickly went deep, and he was not afraid to share the realities of what a journey like this involves. You decided to ride around the world. Why?
I thought my life was over. I thought I'd never be able to do the things that I wanted to do. And it took me a couple of years to realize that actually diabetes doesn't have to be something that limits you unless you left it. So when I was 16, I cycled across the UK. And then when I was 19, I cycled across the USA.
It has often been said that travel can change you and affect you in a way that nothing else can. Yeah, I happened to find Tom in a moment of crisis, and he was undergoing some serious self-realization.
Without her supporting me, I probably wouldn't be able to get this far. I feel really bad when she says she's proud of me. I don't feel proud of me. Yeah, I don't like the idea of living with my own failure.
Do you think you bit off too much of a goal?
Oh yes. I mean, I told myself I was going to ride all of it by bike. I had to take a train under a pass that was closed because of weather. I got a knee injury in Turkey, and so I took a bus. I had some really awful headwinds in Uzbekistan, so I took a train.
Now you see adjusting as copping out because your original goal was just so beautiful and shiny and perfect.
I think it's seeing your heroes and realizing that you'll never live up to anything like what they can achieve. My hero is a Scottish guy who rode around the world 240 miles a day, every day, for 78 days.
Did he leave his diabetes at home?
To be fair, yeah, he didn't have that.
I believe that on that crazy rainy day in northern Vietnam, I met Tom on one of the most important days of his journey.
I'm really trying to make sure I can take away lots of learning from these experiences, because otherwise I think if I keep on pushing myself in the way that I currently am, it's like what's the point?
I'm really intrigued by the differences in our journeys, our goals. I'm the spoiled brat over here, and he is the hardy enthusiast, struggling hero over here.
your words, not mine.
Well, my words. Look at our shirts. I had a custom shirt made up for my journey. Where's your crummy shirt? He doesn't even care. How much does all your luggage weigh, do you know?
60 pounds.
60. I think mine weighs 30, and I complain about it all the time.
2 basic criteria that people will set for themselves for a round the world cycling trip: 18,000 miles and passing through 2 Antipodean points.
You mentioned the world record for all humans, I guess, cycling around the world at 80 days or something. Do you know what the world record is for someone with diabetes cycling around the world?
No idea.
How far have you traveled so far?
About 5,250 miles.
On bicycle.
Wow. But it's not about the stats, it's about the experience. Like yesterday, it was a long day, 112 miles. But I think I experienced far less than I might have done on a shorter day if I'd taken more time to stop and smell the roses, as it were. I have a horrible feeling that the next few weeks is just going to be try and avoid that rain as much as possible.
Yeah, we're in the monsoon season here in Southeast Asia, and it looks like it's going to last for another month at least. Boy, is it rain? You can hear that rain now.
Wake up at 5. Breakfast normally consists of either juice drink or a soda, a rice ball.
Because you're careful to control your sugar.
Towards the beginning of the day, I have to run my sugar levels a bit higher. I'll stop every 10 to 15 miles normally. I have 2 types of insulin. One I inject twice a day, and the other type maybe 4 or 5.
How do you keep insulin? How do you buy it? What do you do for a long trip?
The National Health Service provides insulin for type 1 diabetics for life for free. Every 3 months or so, I have to go back to the UK to get a fresh supply.
And you have to see a doctor regularly?
Twice a year.
Seems the power has gone out here. How does diabetes affect you? If I were riding right beside you, how would you be affected where I wouldn't?
Because I'm running my blood sugar levels a bit higher, I might feel a little bit more tired, and I also get dehydrated. So I'd have to drink extra. Sometimes get to the sort of 90 miles, my legs will start cramping. I think also emotionally, like I've had a couple of points where I've just sort of broken down by the side of the road and just started crying because my sugar levels just aren't where they should be.
Have you learned anything on this trip about yourself?
Ultimately, I'm a very soft person who takes their failures to heart and misses their family sometimes. Sometimes to really experience a place, you have to let yourself be vulnerable in that place. I had a breakdown in Uzbekistan. My back wheel completely broke. But within a minute and a half, 3 men in a pickup truck drove me to the nearest bicycle shop, where a guy spent 3 hours rebuilding a wheel for me. It wouldn't have happened if I hadn't been vulnerable. You have to open yourself up to these kind of possibilities, even if you're not certain about what they might bring. That said, it's nice to get a balance between things going right and things going wrong.
So, Tom Bauer.
Lower.
Can I just drop the O? You're 1 letter away from having a cool name.
Oh yeah, rather than being called Tom Blowjob all the way through school.
Tom Blower. See, I said that.
Yeah, no, that's...
Like without a smirk.
Perfect.
Tom Blower from England, riding a bicycle around the world. You've pedaled 5,000 miles so far. Right now it's October 2019, and he's checking in. Tell us what you'd like the rest of the journey to be.
Making it down to Singapore, and then jumping via Jakarta across to Perth, cycling across Australia and New Zealand, and then across North America, like Mexico, Canada, the US, across to New York, and then finally Lisbon to London.
Now, one of the coolest things that I like about Blower's journey is why he's doing it. You know, a lot of people do trips like this, say they're doing it to, you know, for a cause, or a lot of times I think it's probably just for publicity. Tom isn't doing that. He has a blog, really just for his friends and family, but he took on this crazy challenge for a very good reason. So what do you hope to get out of this trip, Tom?
Look back on it and put 2 fingers up and say, diabetes, because you haven't controlled me. I've fought back. And ultimately, I'd like to be able to say to other people living with diabetes that their condition doesn't have to control them. You have power to control it. And that it's not a disability, and you don't have to live as if it is one.
And so Tom Blower is putting his foot down thousands of times a day, pedaling around possibly the greatest external proving ground on this planet Earth in order to conquer for himself and other diabetics possibly two of our greatest internal enemies, fear and self-doubt. Well, thanks for hanging. I hope you enjoyed my latest adventure. I'm Mark Gilchrist, and I am, and you are, we all are, on this planet Earth.